And I'm back with part 2 of What Have We Learned, Week 8 edition. Last left, we talked about the Patriots and the Rams. So let's get to it. Sorry for saying and over and over again like I'm Obama. My apologies. The Colts at the Tennessee Titans. What we learned about the Colts is that they're another dark horse team like the Miami Dolphins that are exceeding expectations. Andrew Luck has already won more games as a rookie than Peyton Manning did his rookie season as a Colt. 4-3. That team is fighting. That team is fighting hard. And Vic Ballard probably had one of the most amazing touchdowns that I could ever recall outside of Jerome Simpson's somersault from last season. You got to watch it. I mean, it was like he just torpedoed himself into the end zone backwards. It was incredible. But that team is fighting. That team is not laying down for anybody. And Andrew Luck is looking the deal. RG3 may be the most dynamic rookie QB right now, but Andrew Luck is the prototypical pocket QB. He is the standard, for lack of a better term, standard quarterback. Pocket presence. He makes plays with his arm, feet if necessary. But that team is looking really well under Chuck Pagano. What we know about the Tennessee Titans is that, they're fighting just as much as the Colts. They took a tough loss. This is in overtime. Matt Hasselbeck is keeping these Titans in the game. And Chris Johnson is actually running a lot better. He's looking like Chris Johnson and not, Craig Johnson. But, that there are going to be some tight games that they win and lose. And the thing is, they haven't given up. And I don't see Jake Locker getting back on the field in any time soon once his shoulder's healed. I think Munchak is going to keep Hasselbeck as the starting QB for as long as he can, as long as they keep competing the way they are under him. So keep a lookout on that. Yes, the Oakland Raiders at the Kansas City Chiefs. What we know about the Raiders is that they own Arrowhead. That's the second consecutive time that they've won at Arrowhead, maybe more. But the Raiders, the way that AFC West is, they have a shot. It ain't over. The Broncos are running wild, but the way that AFC West is, the AFC West looks like what the NFC West looked like for the last couple seasons. It's dank, dark, ugly, wide open. What we know about the Chiefs is what we've been knowing about them. They suck. They absolutely suck. Brady Quinn gets a start. He gets hurt, so Matt Castle's right back in it. They still suck. How do you not, Romeo Crennel, how the hell do you not know that Jamal Charles only got 5 carries? How do you not know that? You're the head coach. Those are your people. How do you not know that? That just lets me know that New England Light, this is a very poor man's New England. Because Scott Pioli, New England. Romeo Crennel, New England. Matt Castle, New England. Clock is ticking on them, man. The sand in that hourglass is very low at this point for them, for their time in Kansas City. They are the most disappointing team. Absolutely. Without a doubt. They came into the season with confidence and offseason acquisitions. You would think that they were ready to compete. But then that Atlanta Falcons game just completely stopped all that. And they haven't recovered since. Outside of beating the New Orleans Saints, who absolutely suck too, at New Orleans, they have not done a damn thing. As a matter of fact, they are the first team in NFL history since 1940 to have not led a game, to have not led in one game this entire season so far. In 7 games, they have not had the lead once. So as much as the Jags get crapped on, they've at least had the lead at some point in time in their games. The Kansas City Chiefs are basically tanking for Barkley, Geno Smith. Good luck. Next up, we have quite possibly the most dramatic game of the week. The New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. What we know about the Giants is that they were a tale of two halves. First half, they caused havoc. They got Romo to throw, 3 interceptions in the first half, which led to them scoring 23 points. And it just looked like they were just going to run away with it. However, the second half, they just fell apart. Eli wasn't getting the ball to his receivers. That offense just stalled. And that defense, for as much as they did in the first half, they were gassing. They were gassing in that, in that second half. Which, this is a tale of steely resolve. The Giants were able to still hold it in, keep it together, though Dallas was fingertips, if not knuckles away from beating the New York Giants. And I'll get to that in a second. But the Giants are 6-2. They're sitting well atop the NFC East. So they're doing all right. The Dallas Cowboys, what we learned about them is what we already know. They are the most amazing team. They are the most spectacular team when it comes to finding new, exciting, creative ways to lose football games. That first half, like I said, Cowboys were getting their asses kicked. Romo throwing picks and a pick six off a screen pass. I mean, they look like crap. Then Romo turns around and he's putting up video game numbers. Jason Witten, 18 catches, 167 yards. And then he throws what looked like a touchdown pass to Dez Bryant. But Dez, his hand was out of bounds before his body hit the end zone. Oh. And Dez, you could have been the hero after you were such the GOAT in the first half when they already talked to you about punt returns and quit catching them over your head. But he did it anyway. He fumbles. The Giants get the ball. This guy's a fucking moron. Him and Justin Blackman. I'm sorry. I'm just going to call it like it is. OSU is just bringing junk into the league. Dez, with his physical skills and his potential. It's always, everybody talks about, well, you keep him on because of his potential. That potential is not giving him anything but headaches and turnovers and drop passes. Justin Blackman, he ain't doing anything. Dez Bryant, he's doing everything to help you lose. But I digress. The Cowboys find spectacular ways to lose. And because of that, in Dallas, yet again, since Jerry World is open, Eli Manning has not lost a game there yet. He's 4-0 in that new stadium. He has a better record in there than Romo right now. And when does it happen, Jerry? When does it happen? Is it Jason Garrett is going to go? Is it Romo? I mean, what is it with that team? They field all this talent, and yet they can't put it together. Poor clock management, poor play calling. I mean, it's gotta be frustrating as hell. It's gotta be nauseating to be a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I'm glad I'm not. They're 3-4. They're 123 and 124 since the '97 season. I mean, they are the most mediocre, talented team in the NFL. It's a roller coaster with that squad. That's all I got. Sunday night game, we have the New Orleans Saints at the Denver Broncos. What we know about the Saints is that what we've been knowing about them, their defense, they don't have one. Milk carton. Peyton Manning decimated that Saints defense. Spagnuolo, you may be gone at the end of this season. Like, whatever you're doing, it ain't working. Whether it's the personnel or whether it's your schemes, not getting it done. The Saints, and then they bottled up Drew Brees. They made him uncomfortable. He didn't do anything. And not since Drew Brees' 5th game as a New Orleans Saint in 2006 have the New Orleans Saints punted as many times as they did. They punted 8 times in that game. The Saints are 2-4. Or what, 2-5. My mistake. They're 2-5 now. And they got Joe Vitt back, but that made a lick of difference. What difference does it make when your defense can't stop anybody? Dare say your season's done. Atlanta's already 5 up on you. And I just don't see the season turning around for the Saints. And now they got to face a Philadelphia Eagles team that is just as, if not more, desperate than they are. That should be a high-scoring game because both defenses are terrible. They're trash. What we know about the Denver Broncos is that, hey, Peyton has gotten into a groove. He looks like the Peyton Manning that they threw $96 million at. And that defense is helping him out too. They are the front runners for the AFC West. Everybody's talking about them being the front runners of the AFC, but let's not forget that they got their asses kicked by the 2 teams that a lot of people feel feel are the teams of the AFC, and that's the Patriots and the Texans. So, pump your brakes on that. Will they compete? Yes. Will they contend? Yes. Will they beat them? I don't think so. But for the time being, the Denver Broncos are sitting atop the AFC West, a very messy one at that. So, they can feel good about themselves and keep it going. Final game of Week 8, Monday Night Football game. Two NFC West rivals, the San Francisco 49ers, headed to Arizona to play the Cardinals. What we know about the 49ers is that we can go ahead and stop all that Alex Smith confidence issue, Alex Smith, Kaepernick replacement, talk, all that. Because when you go 18 for 19 for 232 yards and 3 touchdowns, 14 to 15 in the first half, and pretty much a game that was one-sided from kickoff to the final whistle, you can go ahead and just shh. Because that was the most complete game I've seen Alex Smith play. And the defense, 4 sacks, and they held the Arizona Cardinals to 7 yards rushing on 9 attempts. You'll win a lot of games if you're able to do something like that. And Randy Moss, it just warms my heart because I am a child of Generation X. I am a child of watching Jerry Rice in his prime. I am a child of watching Randy Moss in his prime, and it's always a warming feeling to see Randall G. Moss, do what he has been doing his entire career, and he looked like he hadn't lost a step. That arrow route, and he just, oh man, you gotta watch it. It was beautiful. But yeah, the defense held Arizona to 3 points, and then the final gasp where Fitzgerald caught the pass and they stopped him at the half-yard line. Very final drive for them. That has to have the Niners feeling good. They're 6-2. They have a 2-game lead in the NFC West, and they're on bye. And then they get the Rams when they're done. So they're sitting pretty. And, they're one of the top teams in the NFC, right under the Falcons and the Giants. And I say the Giants for an obvious reason. What we learned about the Cardinals is that from 4-0 to 0-4, yeah, it ain't looking too pretty for y'all. Because the defense was holding that team together, and that defense got gashed. And the defense has been getting abused. They've lost 4 straight games. Doesn't matter who you put at center, under center. If you don't have a running game and your offensive line sucks, your team sucks. And Patrick Peterson, man, oh my gosh. He might want to burn the tapes on this one because Michael Crabtree abused him very bad. And, 3-yard touchdown, contested. That's one thing. But Crabtree juked him out of his socks. Broke his ankles on his second touchdown catch. And then, just his coverage and his punt returning. That was some growing pains for you, Peterson. And Skelton, Cobb, doesn't matter. They need to find a way to get Kurt Warner back on that field because it's going to be a long season. They limp into the end of the first half of the season 4-4 when they were 4-0 to start. That was a long time ago, folks. But there you have it. That is my take on what we learned for Week 8. Stay tuned because I will return for my pick for quite possibly the ugliest, nastiest ramen noodle, spam, Vienna sausage, potted meat game of the year. The Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Diego Chargers, which I'm sure a lot of people will be tuning in to see how exciting this game is going to be. But it's the NFL. I got to do it. Ugh, God, what a terrible matchup this is going to be. But I'll give my picks and analysis on that. So stay tuned for that. Till then,